Here we go, another day to work on the car. Today we have the jack set up. Gotta have a jack. You gotta work safe. You want to fall, okay, and you get crushed. Okay. Also we have Dale Earnhardt. He's making sure the tranny bolts are tight, making sure everything's good. So at this point, we're going to be putting in the back plate. I had to pre-install the braking system. Over here, I had to put these screws down. This part's going to get changed over here. Okay, carbon fiber brake. The center part, carbon fiber top is over there, all set, ready to go. Also, something else you need to know when you're installing these two screws over here, if you take, if you take an Allen key and you just put them down, two Allen keys, very small, it lines off everything, so you could pick the cam, everything up, and pull the screws and get the cam to go in. Once that's in and you lift it with the two Allen keys, you can actually pick it up, drop it down, push it wherever you got to go, and then put the two screws in, and then you're done with that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the backing plate. This is the backing plate over here. And we have two screws they're going to go. These already have Loctite on them, and I heated them up with a match. Not with a match, with a lighter. Torch lighter, actually. In order to get them pre-coated and inside. Take these two, put it in there. Make sure the little plastic cap is on top. Put the screw up inside on this side. Remember, these ball ends are only to tighten and align. Okay, because you're going to use a regular, see if this is the right size. Use these in order to torque them down. So just use it because you don't want to take these and you snap them off, they're going to break. They're good for a lot. You could probably take a lot. Let me start my fingers there first. Tighten that one down. These two will have Loctite on them already, so. Take that one, tighten it up. Tighten it up. Take the key. Very tight, there you go. Yeah, tighten that one up. Once you have those two nice and tightened up, make sure they're snug. Make sure Dale is still doing the right job. Hey, come on. Work. Make sure you get your partner under there working. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to install a metal ring. Metal ring is required to keep what I call the striker, which is this. Striker for the 2-speed. Okay. Rotate it so the cam is on top. There you go. When you're adjusting these, you just want these to have enough pull on it, but not a whole lot. Like in this one, you could probably go a little more. This is the screw for the speed. The further you go in, there you go. The further you go in, the later the shift. The looser you go, the earlier the shift. See, this is kind of still a little bit on the loose side, so I'm going to go a little more. It's a good midpoint. Should be easy to pull, but not too easy to pull. Okay, this part over here, it goes to the back of the motor, so when this comes up, the striker hits correctly. Tighten that one down. But don't snap it. Even then I should have used this one. Give it a little tweak. That's it, tweaked up. Next thing you're going to do once this is installed, 2-speed gears are going to go in, but you also got to, put the motor in. So I'm just going to put these, introduce the motor into the car in a couple of seconds. Okay, next thing we got to do is introduce the motor. Hi motor, there you go. This is Carlos's motor. Okay, you can introduce the motor in. I always do 2 front screws first. It's got a little cutoff switch in there. Okay. This is the little motor. Just make sure you don't hurt Dale underneath there. And also when you work with the motors, please cover everything up. You don't want, stuff to fall inside there. Okay, so the next thing you're gonna do, I have the other screw, see 1, 2. These I already put Loctite on them. We'll get the other screws later on to go underneath. Okay, once you introduce the motor inside, you're going to tighten these 2 down. I always like to tighten the 2. I like to align the plate up first, because when you're doing the rest of the car, the motor in the back is going to move a bit. I like putting in the back screws and the bottom screws once the part of the brace is put in the rear, to make sure everything lines up. See, just turning itself. So you still have, see this little wobble. Once you have those these 2 screws, I do have Loctite in. Okay. Those are nice and tight. Okay, you still have your top screw. It's going to go over here. This one I got to take off later on, but I'm going to make sure it's on there. Because I just don't want to lose this plastic piece here. This I'll get back to later on, because once the cage is on, there's a piece that goes around here for the cage. This is already tightened up over here on this side. So you take gear number 2, it's going to fit there. Gear number 1. Gear number 1 is going to go here. Make sure this is flat over here. In order to tighten this, once you get the gears in, you got to tighten and you got to hold the 2 back tires. Okay, so now you have to get the 2nd speed gear in. That's gear number 2. Push this one back. Make sure it's in. Always do this in front. Make sure you know which way you're gonna go. Perfect alignment over there. Small screw. It's good to put a little lock washer on there too. That's the same thing. Once you get that little screw in, little Loctite. Once you get the Loctite up in there, I need to tighten this screw. So if you turn these gears, okay, one goes up, one goes under, okay. You want to take any other gear you got in the house, okay, and you want to be able to lock that gear up, okay. So where you lock it up is you put a gear in the bottom. You put the gear on top if you got to take it off. Not too hard, but just enough. There you go. So if you're taking the gear off, you got to put this here to go the other way because you're going to the left. Okay. So once that's done, you got the backing screw, which will go over here. There you go. Use one of these little, nope, right there you go, one of these. Switch up. I like to use these are pretty good for me. You know, to get some type of angle on it. I'm putting these in. Tighten it up. When you tighten this up, you have to hold the 2 back wheels. Okay, but you want to make sure this thing spins freely when this is tightened up. If it binds, you have to make adjustments. So even if I give it a little snug, it should still turn, which it does. Double check. You should be able to put your finger here, and the stud should stay in the same spot. And there you have it, motor pre-installed, and Dale is under the car. He didn't make a mess. Okay, hey, come on. Yo. Go to lunch. See you later. Okay. Alright. Pre-installed motor. Cost his car. Thank you very much.